Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. So it's done. We've gotten the here we go for Madueke as expected, really. I didn't think Chelsea were going to reject that kind of amount. The only way that could have stopped us getting this deal done is if Chelsea wanted up to 60 million. That's the only way, but it is done. Now, scary. Out of all the transfers that we've ever done, this is definitely the scariest deal that we've ever done because of a lot of factors. When you realize that this deal could end up stopping you getting, Rodrigo and Eze, it's very scary. It's also very scary because of the amount of money that we've paid. It's not even 50 million, it's 52 million that we've paid for Noni Madueke from Chelsea. And we've basically doubled Chelsea's profit in terms of Madueke. They signed him for half of that. So that is also scary. And it's also very scary when you realize the number 14 shirt at Arsenal is available. So could he actually end up being given that number? Hopefully not. Let's not take it that far. The deal itself for 50 million, that is a lot of money. That is a huge gamble. That is a huge risk, man. That is a big risk. It simply has to work. Like I'm praying to all the gods to help Madueke that this deal works out, because it has to work out. That 50 million, you could easily have used that money on Gibbs White from Nottingham. You could have used that money on Kudus from Tottenham. You could have tried, added a couple more to get Rodrigo from Real Madrid. They've decided on Madueke, and they've been talking about him playing on the right side and also the left side. Now, the problem is not getting a backup for Saka. No, we've always needed that for 3 to 4 years, needed a backup for Saka. We've never really managed to get one. Would Madueke have been on my top 5 list of players to back up Saka? No. But are they looking at it and saying Madueke is the best backup for Saka? That is what it looks like. That is what they've decided on. They've said Lookman is too expensive on the left side. They've said Gordon on both wings is too expensive. All the other players that are available on those wings are too expensive, and they decided to go for Noni Madueke. So it's a lot of pressure on Madueke because there's a lot of fans, Arsenal fans, who did not want him at Arsenal. But he's not an Arsenal player. He's going to be an Arsenal player. He's going to join us very soon. He's going to undergo the medical. In fact, let's go through what has been said. Fabrizio says exclusive Noni Madueke to Arsenal. Here we go. Fee agreed in excess of 50 million with add-ons included. Green light from Chelsea. Madueke already agreed 5-year deal at Arsenal days ago and is now set to complete the move. The winger leaves Chelsea to join Arsenal. So as I said, I'm going to sit on the fence for now. 50 million is a lot of money. That is a problem. That is still a problem. Even if you ignore all the other transfers, that is a big problem. But if you still end up getting Gyökeres and you get players like Eze, you can get whoever else you want. But if we hear in the next 2 weeks that we are not able to get Eze because we paid 52 million for Madueke, then that is where I'm going to have a big problem. For now, I'm going to wait and see. Now, by the way, this particular deal, it makes me believe that Gyökeres, you're going to get a here we go for Gyökeres very soon, because there's no way. Because I've seen people saying online, where did they get an extra, 2 million for Madueke all of a sudden, and you couldn't get an extra 4 million for Gyökeres? That is true. So that makes me believe that the Gyökeres deal is done. They just wanted to get this out of the way fast and then move on with the Gyökeres one, because it would be so crazy if we ended up paying for Madueke and then didn't end up getting a player that we need the most. But Madueke is going to be an Arsenal player. He's already going to be an Arsenal player. Is he going to be just a backup for Saka? Is he going to be starting more games ahead of Saka? Because no, not more games. Is Saka going to be rested more than usual because of the injury that he had last season? If that is the case, you have to be very good. We've struggled in that position a lot, and you've seen whenever Saka is not on the pitch, he really struggles. So if Madueke comes to Arsenal and he helps us sort out that problem of not having a Saka backup and helps us on the left wing as well, then that means he would have done very, very well. But for 52 million, it's a hefty price. And now Man City get players for a lot of money. They get backups for 50 million, 60 million. They got Nico Gonzalez for 50 something million, and they're already selling him 6 months later. Chelsea do that as well. They get players for a lot of money and then they sell them like within 6 months. Now, we've never really been a team to sign backups for 50 million. Now, would Madueke again have been the backup that I would have chosen? No, but this is very new for us, getting players who are supposed to be backups for 50 million. That's another thing. Is he really going to be a backup, or is he going to be a starter? We also have to wait for that. So as long as you get the other players, the Gyökeres and the Ezes, as of now, with obviously Kepa and Madueke and Nogard, if you look at it like that, people will not say it's been a great window. But if we add the other players that we need, the Yokerezes of this world and the Ezes, then it could easily get to a 9 out of 10. And then if we add another one on top of that, it's a 10 out of 10 window. That will mean we would have sorted our quality issues up front with the Yokerez and those guys, and our quantity issues as well in terms of backups for majority of the players. But I'll be lying if I tell you I'm not right. I'm very worried because this is not a deal that expected us to do. It came out of nowhere and boom, within a couple of days, here we go. And it's not even 50 million, it's more than 50 million. So that is a lot of money. What has David Ornstein had to say about this? He said Arsenal close to full agreement with Chelsea to sign Noni Madueke. Clubs nearing compromise for 23-year-old winger to join Arsenal from Chelsea in 52 million deal. 5-year contract in place. England international in USA as talks enter final stages. So it's going to be agreed. He's going to be an Arsenal player. I don't know if he's going to come back straight to Arsenal after the Club World Cup, or is he going to, on holiday first? That's another interesting thing. But it has to work out. He's still a very young player. He's 23 years of age. He's not being great at Chelsea at all. Although last season he scored more goals than most of our players. That is the truth. But obviously you have to count the Conference League on top of that. He's got a lot of those there. It simply has to work. I'll keep on stressing that it simply has to work. So David Ornstein says Arsenal and Chelsea are close to agreeing 52 million deal. The 23-year-old has already agreed personal terms with Arsenal and of a proposed 5-year deal, with the winger having prioritized the North London side over any other option. Madueke is still in the United States, where Chelsea are preparing for the Club World Cup final against PSG on Sunday night, but talks between clubs are now in the final stages. The Athletic reported on July 7 that Arsenal made contact with Chelsea over a deal for the England forward. Madueke made 46 appearances across all competitions for Chelsea in 2024-2025 and has featured 5 times at this summer's Club World Cup in the US. Chelsea head coach Enzo Maresca twice omitted Madueke from the match day squad. We've talked about this a lot in the previous live shows. He was omitted a couple of times, once because he was not training hard, and the second time because he did not fit that particular game, according to reports. So it's a huge risk. It's a huge risk. He played for Tottenham and Crystal Palace before and all that, and obviously he was at PSV before. He's 23 years of age, so he's not reached his ceiling, that is for sure. But it's very risky, especially considering we also just signed a Chelsea player last season and it didn't work. That is very risky. And if you also realize that Chelsea could end up using that money to go for a player like Rodrigo, it's definitely scary. So it has to work. As of now, the Chelsea fans are very happy. They're laughing at us. Why this guy's buying Madueke for 52 million. The only way to shut them up is Madueke working at Arsenal. If it fails again, then it's going to be consequences. And I'm scared of what is going to happen if Madueke comes to Arsenal and by January he only has like 1 assist to his name. That would be scary. If he comes in and he hits the ground running and by January he's delivered in terms of goals and assists and is looking good, everyone will forget about everything. But it has to be that way because it can't be any other way. It just simply has to work out. We cannot let it go any other way. So that is Madueke done. I'm not sure we're going to get Rodrigo, to be honest. I'm 90% confident we're going to get Gyökeres. I'm 60% confident we're going to get Eze, but I'm like 20% confident we're going to get Rodrigo. Surely there's no way. If you sign all of these players plus Zubimendi and all these guys, that is more than 300 million. So I don't think you're going to spend that kind of money unless we have some big sales lined up that we don't know about. Maybe a Martinelli. I mentioned early in the live show, you never know. Maybe a team will just come out of nowhere and Arsenal sell Ben White for 40 million without expecting. Maybe a team will come out of nowhere and Arsenal sell Kivio for 40 million without expecting it. Those guys trust that maybe end up getting 30 million. Maybe someone comes in with an offer of 50 million for Martinelli and we're happy with that. And that's the other thing. If Madueke is moving for 52 million, we cannot sell Martinelli for 50 million. It has to be more than 70 million. As I've said a lot, every other team has been selling all their players for a lot of money. This is just a fact. If Madueke was playing for Arsenal and we were the ones who were selling him, we would have been selling him for 15 million. Nowhere near 52 million. So this is one of the biggest risks in terms of transfers that we've ever done. Not many Arsenal fans are happy with this at all. I did do a poll on YouTube and a lot of people voted for they'll give him a chance, but the very second vote was people are fuming. So it's a risk. Now, hopefully, we do end up finalizing that Gyökeres deal. I feel like they're going to give us that here we go very, very soon to calm the fans down. I just expect it now. I'm expecting the Gyökeres here we go very soon. And then we'll wait and see if you're going to also get Ez. And then out of nowhere, can we pull a Rodrigo deal? I doubt, but let's see what happens. But this will be a fourth signing of the transfer window. 2 players from Chelsea this time, not even one. This time we've gone a level above. 2 players from Chelsea this time round. Who's it going to be next year? Nkunku or Nicholas Jackson? We're probably going to sign one of them next year, so you might as well start preparing as early as possible. Let me know what you make of this deal. Are you happy that you've gotten a Saka backup? Do you actually like Madueke as a player? It's just the price that you don't like, or you just don't like Madueke as a player at all, and you just didn't want this deal to happen? Because there's some people who actually like Madueke, but they're just not sure about the price. For me, I'm just going to wait to see what we do first. Hopefully by preseason, players like Gyökeres are there before we start playing teams like AC Milan. So let's see how it goes. Big risk here. And by the way, we've realized now all the hashtags that were trending online and all the signatures and all that for petitions. It doesn't matter what people sign. If the club has decided to sign a player, they're going to sign a player. They're not going to listen to all the online fans. So that is a key lesson to learn as well. It doesn't matter what we say as Arsenal fans online. If they decided on the player, they're going to get them. Those guys are never online reading what fans are saying. So it's a tough one. We were told that Madueke was offered to Arteta. The name was brought to his table by the board, and he said yes to him. So let's see how it goes. If it doesn't work out, I'm a little bit scared. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.